The day Sofía announced her wedding, the entire town started whispering. Not because she was too young, not because she was rushing, but because of who she chose. Ese? Her cousin muttered loudly during the family dinner. You're marrying him? At the far end of the table sat Daniel, wearing a simple white shirt, slightly faded jeans and old shoes carefully polished to look new. He spoke little, kept his eyes lowered, and smiled politely at everyone. To them, he looked like a laborer. To some, even worse, a failure. Sofía's aunt leaned toward her mother and whispered, but loud enough for everyone to hear, "Your daughter is beautiful." She could have married a doctor, an engineer, a businessman, and she chose a poor delivery driver. The table filled with suppressed laughter. Daniel heard every word. He didn't defend himself. He didn't argue. He just kept eating quietly. Sofía noticed his hands. They were rough, scratched, tired, hands of someone who worked more than he spoke. She held his hand under the table. "I don't care what they say," she whispered softly. Daniel looked at her, not embarrassed, but worried. "Sofía, my life is not easy. I can't give you luxuries." She smiled. "I don't want luxuries. I want peace." That sentence made him go silent. Because for the first time in many years, someone chose him, not his status. The wedding. The wedding was small, very small. No grand hall, no orchestra, no luxury decorations. A small church, simple flowers, and only a few real friends. Outside, some relatives didn't even bother entering. "Let's be honest," one cousin said while checking her phone. "This marriage won't last a year." Another laughed. "She'll be back crying when she realizes love doesn't pay bills." Inside the church, Sofía walked toward Daniel. He looked nervous, not because of marriage, because he felt guilty. He believed she deserved a better life. When the priest asked, "Do you accept him in poverty and hardship?" Sofía answered before the sentence even finished. "Yes." Without hesitation, Daniel's eyes became wet. At that exact moment, something inside him changed. He made a silent promise. One day, I will make the whole world respect her. Their new life. Their home was a tiny rented apartment above a grocery shop. At night they could hear trucks, dogs barking, and sometimes people arguing in the street. The kitchen had a leaking faucet. The heater worked only sometimes, and the bed creaked whenever they moved. But Sofía laughed more there than in her rich parents' house. Every morning she prepared breakfast before Daniel left for work at sunrise. He worked 3 jobs: delivery driver, warehouse helper, night security guard. He slept barely 4 hours daily, yet he never complained. However, the town didn't stop. Whenever Sofía went to the market, "Still with your poor husband? Did he buy you jewelry yet? Love doesn't cook. Food, dear." One woman even told her, "You ruined your life." Sofía only smiled, because every night Daniel came home exhausted, but still brought her a small flower he picked from the roadside. Not expensive, not impressive, but real. And she understood something nobody else did. Daniel wasn't poor. He was hiding pain. Sometimes she noticed him staring at an old silver ring he kept in a small box. Sometimes he received phone calls and walked outside to talk privately. Sometimes, expensive black cars passed slowly near their street. But she never asked, because she trusted him. And Daniel was waiting for the right moment. Because Daniel wasn't building a life. He was running from his past. Soft pause in narration, and very soon, that past was about to find him. One rainy evening, everything changed. Daniel came home earlier than usual. No work uniform, no bicycle. Instead, a black car was parked in front of their building. Sofía thought it stopped for someone else, but a man in a suit stood beside it, waiting. When Daniel stepped out, Sofía froze. She had never seen him dressed like that. A perfectly tailored suit, elegant watch, clean haircut. He looked like a completely different person. "Daniel?" she whispered. He couldn't meet her eyes. "Sofía, we need to talk." They went inside. His hands were shaking, the same hands that never shook. Even after 16 hours of work. "I lied to you," he said quietly. Her heart dropped, but not from betrayal, from fear. "I am not a delivery driver." Silence. "I was born into the Alvarez family." The name meant nothing to her. Until he turned on the TV. Every news channel was broadcasting. Billionaire industrialist Alejandro Alvarez dies. The only heir missing for 8 years has been located. Her eyes widened. She looked back at him slowly. "You?" Daniel nodded. "I'm the heir." The past. 8 years earlier, Daniel had left his billionaire family. His father controlled companies, banks, and properties across the country. But inside the mansion there was no love. Only pressure. He was forced into business, forced into relationships, forced into a life he hated. The last argument with his father ended with words that haunted him. "You are nothing without my money." So Daniel walked away. No bank card, no bodyguards, no inheritance. He wanted to know, would anyone value him if he was just a normal man? For years, the answer was brutal. People ignored him. Employers exploited him. Women rejected him. Until he met Sofía. She was the first person who spoke to him without knowing his name. The first who shared food with him when he couldn't pay. The first who saw him, not his status. And he fell in love. But he was afraid. Afraid she would love the money, not the man. So he stayed silent until now. The reveal. Within days, reporters surrounded their apartment. The same relatives who laughed. Arrived with gifts. Expensive flowers. Apologies. Fake smiles. The aunt who once mocked him said, "I always knew you were special, Daniel." Sofía watched quietly. She understood everything. People didn't change. Their interest changed. That night she asked him one question. "If you had no money again, would you still be happy with me?" Daniel held her hands. "You loved me when I had nothing. I loved you because you never asked what I had." He then placed documents in front of her. Half of his inheritance, in her name. She started crying. Not because of the money. Because she realized something. She had married a millionaire. But she had actually found something rarer. A man who wanted to be loved, not admired. The next morning, instead of moving into the mansion immediately, they went back to the small church. Just the two of them. Daniel whispered, "Here, I was poor and happy." Sofía smiled. "We weren't poor. We were rich in the only thing money can't buy. Love. And that is why you must never laugh at someone's beginning. Because you have no idea how powerful their story's ending will be. If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. Because every story here teaches a life lesson you will never forget.